I'm Dixon Hemphill, turned 90 years old a month ago, and at the present time one of my goals is to break a world's record. I'm not going to do that by myself. I have three 90-year-olds that are going to accompany me, and we're planning to run 3 relays at the National Masters Indoor Track and Field Championship in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. We'll run the 4x400, 4x200, and 4x800 meters. That's 3 races, all in the same afternoon. All 4 of us 90 years old or older, and we're shooting for 3 world's records. We're not sure who holds the records, and frankly, we're not sure if there are records for 90-year-olds. You have to realize that there really aren't that many of us in that age group that are running. It might surprise people to know there are some, and there's one fellow that runs quite regularly in these meets. He's 97, so it's quite amazing. But and there's a crop of 80-year-olds, so they'll be coming along in years to come. These runners, masters runners, start off at 40 years old and are up into close to 100. It's been a lot of fun. I've been doing shorter races, indoors, both indoors and outdoors. I started out about 3 years ago at an indoor meet and ran 400 meters. It's twice around an indoor track, and I was back to my old days of running. I really enjoyed it. Let's see, in 2014, last year, in March, I was in my late 80s, and 3 other 80-year-olds and I ran a 4x800 meter race. And as I was the anchor man, as I came in, the announcer said that here comes Dixon Hemphill, and this relay team is setting a world's record. Well, we couldn't believe it. We went around high-fiving everybody and so excited about it. And lo and behold, the record lasted about 2 weeks, and it was beaten by a German team. So this year, last summer, at the National Outdoor Meet, the same organization, National Masters, but it's outdoor as opposed to indoor, 4 90-year-old men got together and they set 3 world's records in the 4x200, 4x400, and 4x800 meter. 3 world's records. And now the man that organized this is getting us in this meet next month in Winston-Salem. We're going to run 3 relays, the same distances, and we've got 3 other 90-year-olds and myself, and we're going to try to break 3 records. Frankly, I don't think anybody in their 90s has run an indoor relay race like that. But we expect to set the records, so that's going to be fun. My accident was 15 years ago. I was hit by a car while riding a bicycle. Spent 41 days in 3 local hospitals recovering. But I got back and I actually started running again, slowly, not as like I used to, but at least I was running. And in 2008, I had a right hip replacement, and I figured that was the end of my running. But I found out that there were a number of ex-runners who had had new hips and new knees and so forth, and they were back running. So I checked into it a little more and checked with a person who knew quite a bit about the hardware that goes into a hip, and they informed me that the hardware I had was top-notch. So I started running again, and I've been quite active in the last 3 years. It's called the Trauma Survivors Unit, and it's part of ANOVA's program. They have a number of programs in that same section. They have an art class. They try to get patients who've had serious accidents and are recovering to take up art. And they have an instructor just to keep their mind off their pain. Motorcycle, cars, lots of car accidents, and it's pretty worthwhile on our part to go in. There are about six of us that do this sort of thing. So we just go in and introduce ourselves, and the person in charge of this has gone in before and has told the person that they're going to have a visitor, or would they like a visitor? And they usually say yes. Sometimes they don't want to talk to anyone. And some of them are in fairly good shape, and others are in bad shape. They're all wrapped up with tubes in their throats and all sorts of things. And we'd been in that same position ourselves, all of us. And some had far worse accidents than mine. But as they say, we just go in and talk to them for anywhere from 5 minutes to 15 minutes. And sometimes we hit it off pretty well with them and they really appreciate our coming. Other times we just say, well, see you later, sort of thing. But it's quite a good program. And we also go out of the hospital. We go to talk to fire and rescue teams. And because they're first on the scene, they show up at an accident and there's a person lying on the ground, and they are interested to know what our thoughts are about how they behave, and do they act as though they know what they're doing, and are they really helpful, or are they a little tough on us, and that sort of thing. So, and we've been there, done that, so it's a pretty worthwhile program on both the part of the people like myself to talk about this, and especially on the part of the people who are listening to us, because they get a good feeling as to what it's like to be on the other end. So. The race that I've directed and have the most interest in is called the Goblin Gallop 5K. That takes place in around Halloween time. People come in costume. We started out 21 years ago with about 150 or 200 runners. Then we grew to as many as 1,800 runners and walkers and kids. We have the three groups. Well, some of my memories from the race are having this kids run, which is just 1 kilometer. And these little kids quite often show up in costume because it's around Halloween time and they love to show their outfits off. And they get at the start line and we shout, "On your mark, get set, go," and these kids just take off like it's going to be a race of just a few feet, whereas they've got almost a mile to run. And of course they slow down after a while, but it's great fun to watch them, and they all sorts of costumes. Sometimes their parents will run with them. Some are as young as 6, 7 years old. And they all finish. Some come running in, some come walking. And they all receive a medal at the end of the race, and a big smile on their face. They just have a great time. And many times their parents are going to run in the 5K, so they have either one parent takes care of the children, or sometimes there's a third party that will take the one or several children while the parents run. More recently, we've given prizes for the best costumes. And at the end of the race, end of the 5K, everybody assembles at Fairfax Corner. We have a stage where we announce the winners and so forth. And we announce the best costumes. And these little kids come up dressed fit to kill with these outfits on. Masks and long dresses in some cases, or various Superman, you name it. And they really have a good time. As far as the registration for the race is concerned, there are two websites. One website is our own. It's the goblingallop.org, O-R-G, and if people Google that, they'll find our website with all the information about the race. How to register, where the race is held, the times, the cost, the fact that t-shirts are provided, and everything you need to know about the race. And another website is the Potomac River Running Company, and they are the ones that actually time the race for us at Fairfax Corner. They did that for the first time last year, and they'll be doing it from now on. So there are two websites that where people can find our race information. At the present time, we're looking for a major sponsor. We're in great hopes that we'll find somebody in the community that has an interest in running and wants the exposure that comes with having a race, being affiliated with a race. In fact, if we do find a major sponsor, we will be more than happy to name the race after them. So we like to think that would be an incentive. And that's our goal right now, and we're actively pursuing several leads with hopes of finding some organization. If that doesn't work out, our second choice would be to have a number of smaller sponsors. Of course, we couldn't name the race after them, but they would be people along with some of the present sponsors we already have, and they would get quite a bit of exposure because the race is held at Fairfax Corner each year, and we, as I say, not only get these runners, but their families come. It's a community, a very family-oriented affair, and we get a good many people showing up for the race, and they, of course, shop in some of the stores at Fairfax Corner after they've been there for the first time in many cases. So, and then, of course, we have flyers that sponsors' names would be on our flyers. They'd be on the website. They'd be on the website of the organization that puts the race on for us, namely Potomac River Running, which is an organization of some 6 stores in the area. So that's our present goal. We're assured by the runners that they had a good time, and very seldom does anybody have any complaint at all. Many's the time that runners have come up to me and congratulated us on putting on a good race. In fact, ours is considered one of the best 5K races in the area, and also one of the biggest. So it's lots of fun, and we're planning to continue it, whether or not we get a major sponsor, but we are certainly looking for one. I'd like to say one word about Ben Glass. I met him after he contacted me. He had heard that I was a runner and was approaching 90, and had a rather successful career in that aspect. So he invited me to come into his office, and frankly, I was quite impressed from the first time I met him. I'll have to say we hit it off because he's a fellow runner as well, having done the Marine Corps Marathon a number of times, as I have. But I found him a very genuine type person, and a good listener. He struck me as being somebody who I wish that I had as my attorney after my accident. He just a plain down-to-earth type person, and I was also impressed when I found out he had a group of people working with him, and they have a studio, and they do interviews with people in a room with a camera and floodlights and so forth. So his whole program was one that I thought was a very worthwhile one. Well, any advice that I have would be, I think probably the most important thing is to have a positive outlook on life. There are lots of things that can happen during a person's life that might discourage them one way or another, but they've got to think positively. And another thing would be to get a hobby of some sort or something outside of their work, especially as they get older. I've seen people who retire from work, or I know of people who retire from work and they just don't have any other real interest, and life gets rather dull for them, and they don't not around as long as others who have a hobby of some sort, some interest. It could be anything from an athletic type thing to art, to writing, to visiting friends, family, all sorts of other things. And those are the things that keep people going. And of course, finally, I'll have to say it's really important to be healthy. And being healthy is something that lots of people are talking about these days. And the two basic things are diet and exercise. And I'm not a great one for pills, vitamins, and that sort of thing, although they obviously help some, but just a plain, good, sensible diet and some exercise. The exercise doesn't need to be extensive. It could just be something like 30 minutes 3 times a week as a minimum, and that will keep people going. Walking is a good exercise. It doesn't have to be running, just plain walking or housework, something to keep on your feet and active. So that plus a positive attitude will keep you going for a good long time.